Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. In our last video we showed you how to create an image with an icon. When you clicked on it, it dropped down to a tooltip like this. Today we're going to create something very similar, but we're going to make it a hover effect. We've got an image there with an icon. When we hover over it, it's going to fade in with a tooltip. I've used a call to action here with a button as well. You can do this with any module. Then when we take our mouse off of it again, it's going to disappear back out, leaving us with the image and icon again. Really easy to do. There's no actual coding involved in this today, so let's get started. I'm going to enable the visual builder so we can build on the front end. Okay, I'm going to go down. If I click in the field here, we've got a section, the blue tab. We've got a row, the green tab. And I've got two columns in my row. I'm going to start working on this column here. First thing I'm actually going to do is add our little icon. So I'm going to hit the plus to add a new module. Divi comes as standard with all these modules, plenty enough to build any site. If you've got WooCommerce installed, it'll give you an extra dozen to display your products also. Okay, well, let's get us a little icon. They just added this new module recently, the icon module, and they've teamed up with Font Awesome, so there's a lot of icons to choose from. You can do a search, or you can scroll down, or there's a little button there that you can click to pop it all out if you want to scroll and see. But like I say, there's a lot of them. Let's just do a, say, plus icon. That's absolutely fine right there. Okay, so I've got my little icon there. It's a little bit big for me. So I'm going to go to Design, Icon. I'll change the color in a moment. I'll leave it like that so we can see it. Icon size, I'm going to make mine a bit smaller, around about 50 pixels, something like that. I think my other one was a bit bigger than that, but that's okay. I think it's 56 or something. Okay. And you can type in a value, slide, and increment up and down with the little arrows right there. Okay, now we've got something in there. What I'm going to do is add the image. Now, common to most of these hover effects, the image actually resides in our column background here. And we're actually putting modules over the top of it, which we're going to make appear and disappear as we need them. So let's go into our row, the green tab. I'm working on column 2 here. Got two columns, left and right, left, right. So I'm going to go into column 2 and the content. I'm going to go down to background. I'm going to add the image that I want to add. We've got color, gradient, image, video, background pattern or background mask. I want an image. Pop in whatever image you want. Okay, now we've actually put that in there. You can see we've got something in the background, but it's really not got as much height. We want to display this with a bit more height. I'd kind of like it to be similar size to one next door. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add another module, and this is going to be the module that we want to fade in as the tooltip itself. So I'm going to save this, save the row settings, and we'll go over here, click on the field and add a new module. Little dark button to add a new module, and I'll use a call to action module for this today. You can use any module you like, it'll work just as well. I'm going to use a call to action. It's got a title, bit of text and a button, so I'm going to pop that in there. Now that I've popped that in there, you can see it's given it a bit more height. If I just slide this over so we can see the height of our original one, I want to make mine similar height. I've got a feeling when I add my button it's going to do that for me. Now obviously put what you want your title to say there, put what you want your button to say here, and as you can see, or as you can't see, there's no button there. Button won't show up till we put a link in for it. Regular text field down here for your content, put as much or as little as you want there, and of course you can bold, italicize, make bullet lists, add media, and align it how you want. If we roll down one more, we've got a link drop down right here. I'm going to drop that down. Here's the button link URL. As soon as I put something in here, I'm going to put a hashtag as a placeholder for a real URL. The button will show up. There it is right there. That looks to be about the same height as our one on the left. If you're doing multiple versions of this and you've got different amounts of text, you can give this a fixed height over in design and sizing right there. You can also, if you want to, go into the column itself and give it a fixed height and hide the overflow if you need to do that also. But this is going to work for me today. Okay, so we've got the height, we've got our little button there. Let's style this the way we actually want it to style. Now our height's correct there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend my padding at the top here so it's a lot deeper, and we're going to slide it up with a bit of negative margin so it's up the top there, so we can trigger it when we hover over it. I'm going to close up this sizing right here. I'm going to open up the spacing. I'm going to use a bit of negative margin to pull it up the top. Let's try negative 150. See how far up that takes us. Negative 150. Just put in the number, it'll put the pix for you. It's a little bit too far there. I think I want to give it some padding on the top also to push the writing down. So let's maybe give it 120 pixels padding at the top. It's giving us more space there. We'll give it a bit of margin all around so that it doesn't actually, so that we can see some of our image behind it when we bring it up. So I'm going to give it 20 on the bottom and also 20 left and right. There we go. And let's just adjust this so we're not overflowing up the top there. I think I want to come down by about 50 or so. Let's try 100. And I'll just take a wee bit of padding off the top there to align it with our one next door. Let's try taking that down to 100. There we go, and I'm going to increment up just with my little chevrons here till they're the same size. There we go, that looks pretty good to me. So we've got actually our call to action inside our image there, and we've actually hidden our little icon that's behind it. And that's fine, and I want this to have a white background and dark writing, a bit more like a tooltip, and let's style our little button. So let's go to the content. I'm going to give it a white background. Most of that will disappear because it'll be white on white. Simply going to go to color. You've got the same options as we did with the column when we looked at it. So I'm just going to make the color white. I'm going to go over to design tab, still on call to action. I'm going to go to text. I'm going to make it dark. If we look down below, you can style your title and your body text totally separately if you want to, different colors and fonts. And as usual, Divi's got a crazy amount of fonts. And I'm just going to style that button a little bit. I'm going to make the text color white. I'm going to make the background purple. Perfect. I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay, now comes the fun part. We really don't want to see this at all until we hover over it, until we actually hover over the image. So to do that, still on the design tab, I'm going to close up my button settings here. We can roll down to filters. And if we roll down the filters, we've got one called opacity. Now opacity is transparency or see-throughness. So initially I just want to see the image, so I don't want to see that call to action. And this is common to most Divi modules. If you hover over the dark writing, you'll see some icons appear. Go to the one that you want to affect, in our case the opacity here. There's an arrow there, which there is. Click on it. We can set a desktop state when the mouse is not on it. So when the mouse is not on it, I just want to see the image. I'm going to pull the opacity all the way down to 0 so it's fully transparent. When I hover over it, I want it to be fully visible. So I'm going to bring that up to 100. That's absolutely great. Now the time it takes to get from desktop to hover with Divi is 300 milliseconds by default, which is just under a third of a second, which is pretty quick. If you'd like to speed that up or slow it down, we can go over to the advanced tab, down to transitions, and there's your 300 milliseconds. Don't want any delay, want it to happen as soon as the mouse hits it. If you want to slow this down for a bit of drama, pull it to the right. If you want to actually speed it up, you can pull it to the left. So set your timing in milliseconds there. Don't want any delay, like I mentioned. As soon as the mouse hits it, we want it to start happening. Transition speed curve I tend to use for these is ease in, ease out. They're all pretty similar. Some will work better than others in certain situations. That's my go-to for my hover effects right there. Okay, well, let's save this. Now let's change the color of that icon there. I want to make it white so it stands out a bit better. Now, because we've used negative margin to put our call to action up over our icon, you may have trouble getting to it. If you have trouble getting to it and the little thing doesn't appear for it, I'm okay in this case. You can go to wireframe mode. To get to wireframe mode, hit the little purple button at the bottom. This little icon here on the left hand side will take us to back end or wireframe mode. We've got our little icons laid out for us. Just go into the one you want. That's if you have trouble getting to it via the front end. I'm just going to flip back to desktop, as ours was okay. Occasionally it's going to be difficult to get to what you need to get to. So I'm going to go to design, icon. All I want to do is make that white. Now if we've done everything correctly, we should be good to go. So I'm going to save that. Going to go down, save the page changes, and let's exit the visual builder. And there's our little image. It's got that icon on it. When I hover over it, it should bring up that little tooltip, or in our case, a call to action. And there we go. And people can go down, click the button, read what they need to. When they move off of it again, it's going to disappear out. So there you go, guys. There's how to create an image with icon to tooltip on hover. Really easy to do, no coding. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.